Okay, today is lab 11, which is I reckon it's the last lab for this course. We will be looking at the networking. Also, firstly, I'd like to apologize for the late marking for that's for assignment 2 part 1. Hopefully we can release the mark this weekend. Should be by Saturday morning. Okay, let's get started. I will just open up the lab sheets today. Okay. Okay, today we will be learning about a few things. Pretty much for the summarize some stuff. So probably we just skim through how to check the network interface, how to configure the DNS servers, like how to start, stop, and check the status of your network. And we will be looking at what's the difference actually between TCP and UDP and IP version 4. And I will be showing you a little bit about IP version 6, but just for your information. And lastly, we'll be looking at about the firewall, and I will show you some demo about that one, IP table. Okay, so if you have looked, we have two lab sheets. If you check the, I'm not too sure. I think this one I took it from the old week 11. So if you just open up your old lab sheets, the week 11, you will see this config. I will show you. This should be here. It is. Okay, so now I'm in the Raspberry Pi. I will just go out because I just want to show you the current operating systems that I'm running it. I'm using it Red Hat. So if we check the, by the way, if config it's obsolete now, so it's better if you can just use the command IP address. But I just get used to it using the ifconfig to check your current status of your network cards. So here we will be checking it. This one. I will just show you. This config network scripts. Okay, so I will here I will check my my current network interface. Few things that you need to know when you open up this network interface config. Few things that you need to know. You need to know the type of that one. So what is the type of your current network interface. So in this case, like mine is I'm using Ethernet here, and then this variable you need to know, which is the boot protocols. And then the boot protocol, it has like 3 different types, which is non boot TP, which I'm not too sure, like, because like I rarely use that one, and DHCP, so which is like the dynamic assign for your IP address. And then lastly, this is the on boot variable. By default, it'll be yes. So what does it say about on boot here? So for this particular interface, it'll be activated as soon as you boot up your systems. So that's what does it mean. We can check this one of the program here that I mentioned, NMTUI. Hopefully it's there. There you go. So we do have like the another options. So you have 2 options, right? If you want to, if you check on your lab sheets, you have 2 options how to configure your network. First is by using the command on your lab sheets. If you open up the not the command, but the file. So if you open up the page 2 on the latest week 11 page 2, you will see this particular config. So you have to, sorry, this particular config. So you have 2 options. On Raspberry Pi, you have 2 options how to set up your IP, whether if you want to use DHCP or static IP, by adding the file here on your Ethernet 0, and then after that, remember to restart your network service. The options, the second options would be the second options. You can use the NMTUI. So you can try. I'm not too sure whether it's available on Raspberry Pi, but we can try. We can try on Raspberry Pi. So I'm connecting on Raspberry Pi NMTUI. Okay, so it's not available on. Try. Yeah, I don't think it's available on Raspberry Pi NMTUI, but I believe on here I'm using Red Hat and CentOS. Definitely, it has the network GUI versions. It's pretty handy. It's pretty handy. So if you're using the CentOS or Red Hat, so you can use this program, so which is pretty handy. So you don't have to deal with all the commands, just by interface. So next would be how to restart the network. Here is what you usually do. So etc, so that's in the network status. That's how you check your current network status. So you can just simply stop your network status, or stop your network service, or start and restart. And if you want to configure your DNS server here, you can just go to etc resolve.conf here. So you can just put your DNS server. So can anyone tell me what's the DNS server? I believe Paul mentioned this one yesterday on his lecture. Correct. And what does it do? What's the purpose of the DNS server? Can anyone guess here? You need to know the concept here, because I believe on the exam you will get correct. That's totally correct, Larissa. So it will translate from IP address. Sorry, it will translate the domain name from your IP address. So pretty much, instead of let's say if you want to go to, let's say, google.com.au, instead of typing the IP address, you can just type the google.com.au. It will just automatically call the DNS server and then translate. For your informations, you can use the freely available public DNS server here. So normally, I believe Google is 888. That one, that's Google. But we can check here. We can check the freely. Yeah, correct. Google is there are two freely available DNS server, which is the Google one 8888, and secondary one, a secondary DNS, which is 8844. Yeah. So the next one would be, this is also important topic for you to know. I believe, like, if you came to the yesterday's lecture, it's all about the concept of networking. And if you if you're really interested in the networking space, you might want to take the CCNA course. That's why, like, yesterday, I check on the lecture notes. There is a topic about the OC 7 layer. And that's pretty much like the one of the most important topics when you want to take the CCNA course. It's a good demand in the marketplace if you can have like a CCNA certifications. So here, what's the difference between TCP and UDP here? So TCP it's pretty much like the connection oriented protocol. What does that mean? You need to establish like three-way handshake. So if you have a look here, so during the communications, let's say between the host A and server, host A send a synchronized package, and then expect expect the server to give them back the synchronize and acknowledge package. So here it is like a keyword. If you have to explain what's the most how pretty much like how do you what's the main difference between TCP and UDP. So this will be the keywords that you can just you can throw in your exams. That's a three-way handshake. So you can explain the what's the drawback of the three-way handshake. So of course the drawback will be the latencies that you will be facing when you use the TCP. That's right, yeah, because like it's more packets and definitely traffic, but it is reliable. That's the advantage of having TCP. Whereas like UDP, it's more like the UDP protocol. It's for example, like if you if you like playing games, it's real-time games. Like in the past, like I used to play. Correct. Doesn't care. That's totally right, Ian. So in the past, like I like playing, like StarCraft, Warcraft, that kind of games. So all the connections, all the protocol using in the StarCraft or Warcraft or that type of game, it's using UDP, connectionless oriented. Because like imagine like if it's built or if it's used if all those games are using I believe Netflix use UDP, because like if the Netflix use the TCP connections, it'll be like streaming. Definitely, yes, all streamings definitely use UDP. Yep, that's right. If it's missing like a frame or two, doesn't really matter, because like it doesn't really pretty much like if you use UDP, imagine like if you miss 1 or 2 frames, it doesn't really mean anything, as long as you achieve the purpose of that particular applications. But for TCP, it's you need to transfer that package intact. That's why you need the three-way handshake. So that's the major difference between TCP and UDP. So TCP and UDP, there are 2 transport protocols used in Internet Protocol Architecture. So that's in like if you in the networking topics, you need to get your head around what's the main difference between TCP and UDP. Does that make sense so far? I know it's for today's lecture, it's more like theory about all the concepts of networking, rather than like, because like in the past I usually throw a lot of demos, whereas like the last lab, it's more about the concept and the theory about the network, the networking. So here it's you don't really have to know this one. I mean, it's good for you to get a better idea, like different, like 3 different classes, class A, class B, class C, and you will see these anyway. Like if you're in your workplace, or if you're at uni, when you type your the command IP address, and okay, which IP range that I'm using it at the moment. So here, if I type my my IP address, currently I'm using Wi-Fi at home. So I'm using the IP address class C, and again This is there are only 3 private use IP address, which is like for the class A, it must use 10.0.0.0. So this particular network use in private, and 172.16 for class B, and this is for class C, and this is for class A. So this IP address from class A, class B, class C specifically use only on closed LAN networks. So you won't be finding this range outside the LAN network. Yeah. Okay. Now this is pretty important topics for you to know. So this is pretty important topics for you to know. If you open up the lab sheets, which is the new one, page 3, which is the subject. The subject will be the title, subnet calculations. So if you open up that one, can anyone tell me what is subnetting? What is subnetting? What is subnetting, and what's the purpose of having subnets? Correct. That's one of the purpose of having subnetting, but correct. Yes. Yeah. That's another purpose of having subnetting, but the main idea of having subnetting is the process to divide from large network into smaller network. So you can in reality you have, let's say company A has, let's say, 5 different divisions. Okay, you have the options not to use subnet, but assign all those divisions by using the same IP range. You have the option to do that, but the drawback of having that one is first you might run out the IP address, correct, but the main purpose of having subnetting would be, imagine like if you have like a smaller network, it will be so much easier for you to troubleshoot when issues found in that particular network. So for example, like you have a subnet 1, you have subnet 2, you have subnet 3, right? So let's say there is an issues with so for example, I give you the example like this. Let's say you have subnet 1, IP address from, let's say from let's say this is subnet 1, and you have subnet 2, and then start from 9. Start from 9. Let's say 5, 4, 413. And then you have here 6, 7, 16. Okay, let's say you have 3 subnets, right? Let's say company A, and then company B. Okay. Imagine like this. Okay. So the benefit of company A, so for example, like if you have any issues within this particular subnet, you can just simply troubleshoot the subnet 2 without affecting any issues with the subnet 1 and subnet 3. Okay. However, yes, it'll be slightly, I don't say it's difficult, but still easy, but it'll be slightly more difficult comparing to company B, because you need to think about like how many hosts per subnet, and then you need to allocate certain division to certain subnet. But it will be so much easier if you want to troubleshoot if there is any issues in the subnet. Okay, imagine like this one. If you have any issues with your network, you will be causing an issues to your entire company. Does that make sense? So that's one of the main reason why we use subnetting, because first it will definitely reduce the network traffic by having subnetting. Also, it'll be so much easier for you to troubleshoot when issues found. So you can simply isolate this particular subnet and then troubleshoot this range. So that's the main idea of having subnet. Does that make sense from that that particular analogy? Yeah. Okay. And this is like a common questions that you might be asked on your exams. You will, let's say you're given like a subnet mask for 24, and you are asked what's the network bits and the host bits. So remember that if that's the subnet mask 24, it'll be like 255.255.255.0, and then you need to convert that one into binary, which is 11111111, and again that's the same thing for the second octet and the third octet, and then the last octet will be 0. So all one here, it will be the network bits, whereas like the host bits, which is all zeros, if that makes sense. Do you know the calculations of this one, or has anyone are you guys a bit confused about the calculations of this subnetting? Because I reckon it'll be very useful for your exams later. Does that make sense? Like these calculations. So if it's like 8 bits here, so why it'll be 255? Because it'll be like the power of 2, if that makes sense. Okay, cool. I'll show you probably one. Yes, Correct. So so 255 actually it's equal to 1 1 1 1 1 1 wait 1 1 yes. So it's /24, right? /24 is 255 255 255 0, and then this is the section the octet 1 and this is the octet 2, and this is octet 3, and this is the octet 4, which is 0, right? And then here it'll be all 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then here why it becomes 255, because it'll be like the power of okay 0 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 6 7. So it's the power of 0 2 That's right, yes. Correct. Yes, yes, yes. That's totally right. 64 32 16 8 4 2 1. Correct. Oops, this is wrong. Oh, yes, correct. So that's totally right, Larissa and Ian. Okay, so that's how you find the network bits, and this is how you find the host bits. So if you check your there's like a little exercise there. If you open up the where's your lab sheets? Okay, the new one, your lab sheets, page 1, 2, 3, page 4. If you open up your page 4 here, you will see the exercise to check or to find your network bits and host bits. Just have a look this example and you'll be fine. Okay, and I will skip this one for now. Because it's more related to we don't count the whole call, the host range. Sorry, can you please explain more about that? Correct, yes. The number of hosts, yep. Okay, if we go back here, if it's asked you what's the number of hosts here, it'll be let's say this is 2, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. It'll be 2 maximum 2 to power of 8, which is 256 hosts, but 256, but you need to subtract by 2, because one would be used for I believe network address, and another one use will be, that's right, that's totally right, broadcast address. So if you were asked if you were asked like how many hosts can you create? Okay, the total will be 256 hosts, but the valid host would be 256 subtract by 2. So it becomes 254 valid hosts here. Does that make sense from the calculations? Always remember, you need to subtract by 2. That's exactly the same. Oops, I just accidentally closed. But if you check out the previous one, when I demo the company A, I will just start by 2. Let's say 2 from 2. Let's say 1. Let's say 2 from 2 to 6, and then after that, it will be started from 9. Okay, because the 7 will be used for broadcast in this particular subnet, and the 8th one will be used for the network address. So that's why. And here exactly the same like number 1. So you need to preserve 2 IP addresses on every subnet or on every IP range. Okay, try this one when you have time, and I will skip this one. I don't think it will. I don't think it'll come up on the exam, because it's more like an advanced topic about the subnet calculations. I thought it'll be useful if I can just include it and we can discuss, but I don't think it's relevant for this particular subject. Okay, so the IP6 we don't really discuss in details about this one, the IP6, but I just wanna explain to you a little bit about IP6, and the reason why we use IP6 simply because IP4 it's getting used up, so that's why they come up with IP6. They come up with IP6, but the thing is, like, even like right now, we don't really use it IP6 heavily. I don't know, because like maybe I believe it's a bit too complicated for anyone to get head around of it. So I might just skip this exercise, but if you want to find out this one, this is like a valid IP6, because you just need to find out, you just need to figure it out whether all of them are hexadecimal. Like this one, it's definitely valid, that's fine, and this one, it's invalid. Why? Because of this one. Because of this and this. You can only have one double colon. What does it mean? Double colon? Double colon meaning that double colon represents like 0, 0, 0, 0. But particularly on IP version 6, you cannot have 2 double columns like this. You cannot have 2 double columns like this. So it will then valid because of this one and this one. And this one invalid because the G here. If you know the hexadecimal, it'll be just up to F. So definitely this one invalid. And lastly, it will valid here. if you check out, everything is fine. It's hexadecimal. It's just up to F and no G, H, or I. It's pretty much like if you're given like I don't know, like if you're interested to take further this course. I mean, like if you're planning to take the Linux certifications, let's say Red Hat or CompTIA Linux or LPI, definitely you need to know about IP version 6, but you don't really need to know in details. You just last one valid instead of invalid. Just check every single thing here. Like this is okay, this is okay. A, B, totally fine. 12F, which is fine, it's part of hexadecimal. 2552777 FBA, that's all hexadecimal. So the last one will be valid. This one invalid because of G, and this one invalid because of it has 2 double semicolons. But if you have one single double semicolon like this, if you notice, that's valid. I think it's out there. It's freely available for you to just validate the IP6 IP address. It's online by using like online validator, but it's really important for you to know the IP6. Again, not for this course, but if you're planning to take, let's say, okay, hey, I'm interested in to get certifications in Linux. So I took my CompTIA Linux Plus certification. I think last month. Yeah. I got this questions. IP version 6, like valid, invalid, typical similar type of this, and IP version 4. IP version 4, but different type of questions, not this one. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on IP6. Okay, now I will just show you the firewall here, the firewall. If you check out my my last week's recording, I believe I mentioned about the IP table. I will just show you. Okay, I will just show you the IP table. IP table. Oh, oops, IP tables here. Okay. Maybe I need to change the font a little bit so I can just show you. Okay, IP table here. Clear. So to view, if you open up your lab sheets. For now, we will I will just discuss about the enable, how to enable your SSH over X11 in the slide 13. For now, I will just skip it. We will be looking at the firewall because it's pretty handy and quite important. Actually, it's very important if you want to be a sysadmin, because you need to you don't know what's going on. Like in the past, like one of my my workplace website was being attacked by some other countries, like on the other part, like by some other countries. In this case, I need to write the script write the script and then blacklist all the IP addresses in that particular regions by using IP tables. So it's really handy. It's not like a DDoS. It's not like a DDoS attack, because like if it's like a DDoS attack by overnight, it will the server will be definitely shut it. Like the server will definitely dead. But in this particular case, we got like some sort of intermittent attack. So for example, like between 4 p.m. up to 4 to 4:30 p.m. and then we just got like like a really heavy traffic from, let's say, region A. Okay, I don't want to mention any particular region, like region A, and then that's why I needed to write a script and then check what's I believe that's I couldn't remember, but the website, but I believe there is a website for you to find out what's the IP range used, for example, like by Australia. So you can find all of those IP address range, and then after that you can just simply save in text file. So for example, like v, like just normal. I don't want to write that here. Let's say vi IP Australia. Let's say this one. Text. Okay. Here you can just list all the Australia IP addresses, and then after that you just write a small script to add and drop those IP address from this listing, this listing, and then after that it will just pretty much it will just drop all the IP address coming from that particular region. So it's pretty handy for you to know this stuff. I will just show you. So there are 3 types. If you check on the firewalls here, there are 3 types of the command that you need to know. So for example, like this one, this is input, and what does it mean? So the input meaning that the packet going in to your network, and then forward is the packet forwarded by your server, and then the output packet originating from your network to outside. So in this case, if you want to block any packet coming to your network, you need to use this particular syntax. So I will just show you the demo here. Config. Config. So I'll try to ping from this computer to this Red Hat server here. So I'll try to ping, and now we try to add this syntax here, to this one here, and see how it goes. IP table input. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, it's not in IP tables, min A input, P, ICMP, switch J, reject. There you go. It wasn't working because I copy paste from here. I was just lazy. So I just copy paste, and then yeah, I think it's because of I'm using the PowerPoint. There'll be like some sort of hidden space, so that's why it's not working. See, that's the command that I just put it in. So if we check out the list, the L, you will see here reject. So reject with ICMP here. Now we will try to clear the packet here. So try to reset back to the original one. So this is remember, this is the one that we just used it. That's reject. So if we just go back to accept here, and then IP tables, P output accept. IP tables F. There you go. So remember, if as soon as you implement the particular syntax, you need to execute. Let's say execute or make it active by using the command IP tables switch F to flush. So now if we try by using the drop here, input min P is so this command telling me I want to add this particular command, which is input, with the protocol switch P, which is protocol ICMP, and then what is the actions? Okay, the actions, I want to drop the packet here. So if I drop the packet here, and then it will just automatically reject it. It will just automatically drop. Okay. Now the question is, so what's the main difference between the packet being rejected and being dropped? Can anyone tell me? So what's the difference here? By using the previous, correct, yes. So in this case, if you, let's say, if you are on the server, let's say you have the web server, and for sure your web server, you want to drop all the ICMP protocol, right? Because you want to avoid any DDoS attack. So if you are like a sysadmin, which one that you want to use the command? Are you gonna use the reject command, or are you gonna use the drop command? Let's say if you want to secure your web server, which is publicly available. So which one? That definitely drop the packet, because if you use drop the packet, the packet, you know exactly the message that you will see here. I don't know whether I still see or not. Here it's just timeout, and you don't see any other additional information. So the hacker have no idea at all what's going on, you know, like no details at all. Correct, yes. But if we check again, if we check again, if we check again by using the reject here, okay, you will still see the information of your web server here, which you don't want to expose. Therefore, you can use the reject command here if you want to, let's say, troubleshoot your web server in your internal network here, in your workplace. That's totally fine if you want to use reject. But if you want to secure your web server outside publicly, you need to use drop. I hope that makes sense from the demo. Just give me a moment. I will just return it back to default positions. So again, you need to know like these 4 commands. It's the commands for you to return to the default accept states. And this is very important for you to flush your IP tables in order for you in order for all the commands to work properly by using this one, sudo IP tables switch F. So that's pretty important. Here I will be we will be I will show you how to set the X11 port forwarding. Here, if we let's say we'll just connect to Pi. Hopefully Pi is still there. Okay, I'm connecting to my Raspberry Pi. So if I open up the etc ssh sshd config here, in order for X11 to work properly, there are 2 config that you need to turn it. You need to make. This one, you need to make sure that X11 forwarding set to yes, and X11 use localhost set to no here. And step 2, pretty much you need to install the Xauth here. And I will just show you. And here, if you want to connect from your client to the server, and then remember, every time after you change your config, you need to restart your server. I will just quickly show you the. Okay, we use the X11 port forwarding. If we want to execute any graphic interface applications from the client. So for example, like if I'm using let's say I'm using Party here, it's not gonna work here, right? It's not gonna work. That's why I will just show you the demo here, because I'm using in my just right before we started our lecture here, our lab. I just made the recording using the live Ubuntu, because I'm at my current environment here. I'm running Windows, and it's not gonna work. But suppose that this one is Ubuntu, which I will just show you later. Okay, in order for you to connect using the X11, you just need to connect using switch XY here. Okay, I will just show you here. So I will just show you here. So at first, this is my my live the live Ubuntu. So I will just simply SSH in to the Pi. It's just normal here. First, I didn't use any switch here. So there is no switch XY, and see how it goes. So that's the first one. The first one, which is the demo, is simply just connect to the Raspberry Pi. And the second one would be, so as soon as I connect to a Raspberry Pi, I just want to make sure and show you two important configs for X11 to work properly. The first one, which is like the X11 port forwarding into yes, and the X11 use localhost to no. And that's the calculator. So it's pretty much like the one of the default applications, just to open up like a calculator here. Open up calculator here from the Raspberry Pi. So if you open up your Raspberry Pi, you just type calculator, you will see the calculator open. So here I couldn't connect and connection refuse, as you can see from the recording. Why? Because I didn't put any switch dash X and Y. The next recording would be, now I just quit from the SSH, and then I reconnect again, but this time I'm using the switch XY. So see the last recording. So as soon as I connect SSH using the XY, and then I type the calculator, I can call. Now I can call here. I can call the calculator. Actually, this is, have a look, on Raspberry Pi. So the main reason why we use X11, we can call the GUI interface application on the remote. Okay, that's great. That's really good, Ian. You can test X11 port forwarding here on your machine. That's really good. So that's pretty much like the demo. And this topic, remember, this topic X11, it's very important. You need to learn. I'm pretty sure. It should work. It should work with PuTTY. It should work with PuTTY. It doesn't really matter, PuTTY, because like at the moment here, currently I'm running on Windows environment. Okay, so on Windows environment, in order for me to make it work, the X11, I need to install some other applications. I couldn't remember what. I think X Windows, I don't know, pretty much like the X server. However, if you're running using Ubuntu, by default it has the X, I believe it has the X server. That's why I couldn't. Yes, if you're on Ubuntu, that's totally fine. You don't have to worry about installing any third party. But here, if I want to show you here, which I don't want to show you on Windows environment, because like this is not the whole idea of learning learning Windows, because like, yes, because we are studying Unix. So that's why on my demo I'm using the Ubuntu, the live Ubuntu. So it's pretty much like the end of today's lab. But remember, like, there are 3 things for you to take for today's topic, and I'm pretty sure it it will most likely come up in your exams. First, you need to play around and get your head around, and pretty much like you need to understand inside out about the X11 port forwarding. Also, you need to test and play about the firewalls. So X11 port forwarding, firewalls, and what else? Don't worry about IP6. Don't worry about this one. This is just for your informations. Don't worry about the class A, B, C, and private use IP address, because like that's not the whole point of this course. This is more like the CCNA course. TCP Udp, it's pretty handy. And this is something that you need to take as well. TCP UDP, so what's the difference and what's the advantage of TCP, what's the disadvantage of UDP, that kind of stuff. And pretty much, just give me a second if I miss something, but the X11 IP, X11 firewalls, that's important. I just wanna give me a second. Okay, one more thing, subnet before. So for today's topic, there are three main area that you need to focus on. First is X11 port forwarding, which I've already showed you the demo, and then the firewalls. I showed you the demo, the firewalls. Also the subnetting, which is this part. That's three most important areas for today's lab, pretty much. Okay, so that's pretty much from me. I have already in this particular slide, I've already taken out and summarized from two different lab sheets on week 11, which is like the old one and the new one. Everything, the essence of those lab sheets, after they summarize everything into this slide. So yeah, I think that's pretty much for today's lab. Have you guys any other questions, or everything clear? Cool. Okay, and again, thank you so much for attending this this lab, and I hope that you'll get useful knowledge from this course. Pretty much like the demo that I showed you from the previous lab, or even like this lab, or any other example that I share with you guys. Pretty much that's my previous experience. So it's definitely something that you will be facing, like if you work in this particular area, if you work in the Unix area, or if you work as a web dev / sysadmin, you will be facing all this type of like typical issues that I've already shown you, pretty much. Okay, if you don't have any other questions, I'm not too sure whether we will be having a lab next week. I'm not too sure, but just come to the next lab, week 12, which is revisions, next Monday, and I'm pretty sure Paul will give you announcements. I don't think that we have lab in week 12. Thank you again. Thank you so much, guys, for today. Thank you. Thank you, Larissa, Gomer, Ian. Have a good night, guys.